الآن مع كلمة فخامة السيدة الأولى جانيت موسيفيني حرم رئيس أوغندا تلقيها نيابة عنها، ونشرف بالترحيب بها مع السيدة سوزان مهويزي الممثل الرئاسية الأولى لنائبتها فخامتها، فلتتفضل مشكورة.
The First Lady of Serbia, and then the President of the Arab Women Investors Union, Dr. Huda Yassa, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before I read the speech of Her Excellency, the First Lady of Uganda, I want to take the opportunity to thank my dear sister, Dr. Huda Yassa, for a beautiful
Thank you.
job. I also take the opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of Egypt, and all the Egyptians for the great hospitality you have extended to us as delegates since our arrival. Thank you very much. Now I'll read the speech of our First Lady, and I also bring greetings because you visited our country and you met her, and we had the honor of you being in our beautiful country, the Pearl of Africa, and doing a good job both with the youth and the women and meeting different investors, and we hope to welcome you all to the Pearl of Africa, one of the most beautiful countries in the world. If you've not been there, you've not been anywhere. So, greetings from the Pearl of Africa, Uganda, and from Her Excellency, the First Lady, Janet Museveni, who expresses her appreciation for the honor of being invited to the 28th edition of the Egyptian Investment Summit, organized by the Arab Women Investors Union. As a country, we have just started the general election campaign season, during which our people participate in electing their leaders at various levels of government. It is for this reason that I, Janet Museveni, cannot be with you physically today, but know that she has this event in mind and wishes us all fruitful deliberations and outcomes. Since we met at the 27th edition of this investment summit almost a year ago, we can all testify that the world has since changed significantly. This has been on account of two major drives. First, the advances in information communication technologies driven by artificial intelligence. Secondly, the global landscape politics has significantly changed with the rise of nationalism that has put to the test the ethos of international cooperation as a platform for addressing shared investment opportunities. And I believe Egypt was at the helm of this. The above factors present an unusual two-sided reality of opportunities and challenges that both state and non-state investors must deal with to harness investment and development. The good news is that lessons from history tell us that no single society has ever undergone socio-economic transformation without a form of international cooperation for investment. And so we are glad that we have an investment summit right now. Therefore, our being together here in the investment summit is not in vain at all. On the one hand, the summit lends credence to history that we need one another if we are to go through such cycles of dynamic realities. On the other hand, this forum is a mirror to reveal whether we are built to be adaptable, to be flexible, to not only survive, but thrive in highly unpredictable, globally driven economic and investment cycles. I'm sure that by the time we come to the close of this summit, we shall have heard stories and accounts of businesses that have found the times we are going through globally the best they have had for investment. However, it is also that some businesses have found it extremely difficult and the investments are not returning the value expected. Sustainable investment and economic development require us to have adaptable business models that can readily accommodate new globally driven challenges in investment and economic cycles. If there is one thing that we ought to have learned from COVID-19 pandemic, is that there is no nation or state, business enterprise or investment, family or community that is isolated from the circumstance that happen or start in a place that is either known to us or thousands of miles away. It ultimately comes to affect us all. Therefore, our businesses and investment strategies and models must be built in such a way that they are adaptable to both the desirable and undesirable. They must be two-sided and consider emerging investment and economic realities. For example, the rise in the call for nationalism has influenced policy decisions that have in turn influenced investment choices by businesses and enterprises. From a business standpoint, those of us gathered here today recognize and appreciate that no local market is big enough to satisfy the desired demand of the country's business supply chain. Local markets, however diversified they are socially and economically, cannot be large enough to consume all that the business within the jurisdiction are able to produce as investment outputs. And this is what calls for cooperation. Egypt has what to offer to Uganda and to the rest of Africa, and the rest of Africa has to offer what to export to Serbia, to Mauritius, to Egypt. This implies that businesses ought to look at regional markets as an immediate extension of the local market. Yes. Therefore, think of regional markets as part of the internal market. The changes in the regional investment market will quickly affect domestic investments much faster than global investment economic cycles. Therefore, we need to think of regional markets as an immediate extension of one's local market. And Egypt, we need you. We need your medicine, we need your tourism, we need your training, but you need us very much. You need us. We have the labor, we have the power, we have the oil. Africa is rising, and we need to work together. Whereas businesses with a strong trait of adaptability will thrive in the unpredictable global investment and economic cycles, the attribute of flexibility is necessary if our businesses are to make the most of regional markets. When your neighbor is unwell, you get to know or are affected much earlier and faster than someone else who lives 1,000 miles away. Internally, our business models need to be flexible enough to quickly respond to sudden shifts in supply and demand forces, as well as within one's regional market. The strategies that make our businesses adaptable to global investment and economic cycles may not be flexible enough to navigate shifts within the global investment ecosystem. For example, artificial intelligence offers an unmatched opportunity in accessing knowledge and growing understanding about investment and economic cycles because it functions better with large data, information, and technology architecture feeding into analytical processes. Thus, AI becomes a leverage for strategic adaptability in the global markets. On the other hand, the shifts in regional markets, just like internal or local markets, tend to be a lot more nuanced. Shifts within regional markets tend to be highly contextual to the markets, subtle, and a lot more complex. Therefore, This summit is a good starting point as a critical forum to advocate for the removal of barriers that limit access to regional trade and international investments, because regional markets are the surest path of resilience against undesirable global investment and economic cycles that end up affecting local investment markets. Ultimately, this makes investing in the building of adaptability and flexibility within our business critical anchors that shall steady us when charting the unpredictable seas of global investments and economic cycles once we have resilient regional investments. So I call upon you, like our First Lady of Serbia said, we women are the backbone, and we have the support. And when you look around at this room, we have the support of our men. We have the support of our sons. We have the support of our leaders. So let's unite, let's be strong, let's us come out of this summit with real business deals.
Yes, real business, please.
Once again, it's been an honor for me to be here today for the second time to represent the Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, the First Lady of Uganda and the Minister of Education. I thank you.